Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling 101. I am joined, as always.
Hi!
You didn't introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm Hardcore Christopher.
So, another week and more drama has unfolded. So,
Yes.
as we know, unfortunately we lost a great legend just over a week and a half ago now, I think it is. And Warner Media refused to let Tony Khan, World Discovery, whatever they are known as now. I lose track. They changed the name so much.
Warner Brother Discovery Media.
Yeah, they refused to let Tony do any sort of tribute on live TV, to the point that Tony actually had to film a Ring of Honor special that I think has now dropped. At least it has on YouTube. I have not had the opportunity to watch it, which I need to do now. And there was a lot of outcry, and I do mean a lot of outcry online.
And I don't think Warner Media would have done what they did if it wasn't for them getting so much heat. I think it was just sort of, okay, everyone hates us, so we're going to do damage control now. You can have what you want.
Well, that, and there was a lot of pressure coming from Tony. So, Monday, Tony gets phone calls from two individuals. They both were wanting to do a match in honor of Jay Briscoe. One of them, Mark Briscoe, which I was kind of surprised about. Not that he would want to do something to honor his brother, but it was so soon after the tragedy. But Mark is holding together probably better than I would be. And the good long-time rival / friend, Jay Lethal. Tuesday morning, the internet blows up that Mark Briscoe has been announced as his debut on Dynamite. Then, in an interview, it was also revealed that this is not a one-time thing for Mark. AEW can use him going forward, if they so choose. Okay, you can break this all down, because this is a lot to take in.
Okay, it was nice to see Mark on television. It was nice to see everyone come out at the end of the show. I just have one issue, and I think it was a week too late. Honestly.
Yes and no. Maybe it took the outcry for Warner to say...
There should have been an outcry to begin with. They should have just let him do a tribute show.
I agree. But maybe, just maybe, that's what it took. To open the eyes of Warner Discovery to say, look, if we don't... It's been 10 years. One of them's already gone. We just need to let bygones be bygones and move on. I personally feel Tony would have looked for a new home if this didn't get resolved. And that might be what he told him. He goes, look, we've been great partners together. He said, but at the end of the day, I got to take care of my kids, my boys. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't like Vince McMahon, but think about it. He thinks of them wrestlers.
Despite what you want to say about Vince McMahon, at
them
least
wrestlers was his family while they were under his door. And he will go for bat for them. Doesn't mean he necessarily always book them the way they should be.
Let's take the Ultimate Warrior when he passed away. When Ultimate Warrior was alive, he said a ton about the WWE.
And they brought him back.
And they brought him back and
inducted him into the Hall of Fame, and then he was going to be the voice of WWE.
And then after his induction, he did that in-ring promo, and then 24 hours after that...
I don't even think he made it 24 hours.
He passed away, and then the next week I think it was the next week, everyone stood out.
So,
graphic.
I also got some interesting, curious news.
Okay.
Tony Khan is now teasing a Ring of Honor TV announcement after the Mark Briscoe debut on Dynamite.
Interesting.
Was part of Tony's negotiation? Do you think it could have been, I don't care, you just put me on a Wrestle Network, but I would like Ring of Honor TV? Or was this already in the cards, but it couldn't be announced until a certain date? I mean,
I think this was already in the cards. He just couldn't announce anything before it was.
If it's its own network by Warner, I'm going to say this was part of Tony's negotiation of staying on the network. And more than likely, a extension has already been reached. If it's on a completely different platform, we may be having a discussion come October on where AEW is going to be. I think they're going to stay with TNT and TBS. I don't think Tony would have pushed so hard if he really thought that the relationship was coming to an end. He wanted Mark to be part of the show going forward. I think, honestly, let Jay become a good guy, and if they don't want to strip the belts from him, at least let one of...
Which he's still holding.
Both, yes.
Both.
Let one of his friends help him with this title run. Joe would be a good fit if he wasn't a heel right now. But we know AEW can be flexible when it comes to babyface heel tones. And it doesn't... I mean, it sometimes happens overnight.
Yeah.
If it makes sense for the booking. I mean, I'm sure they can make it. I mean, honestly, even though Joe Tone or Warlord, he's not the extremist bad guy.
No.
He's more of a in-your-face competitor. So he does some heel actions, but at the same point, that's always been Joe's MO. Even when he's a good guy, he's in your face. Just like now, he got booed because he attacked Warlord. But if you really think...
Speaking of which, where has Wardlow been?
He's dealing with a small nagging injury.
Oh, so that was...
So that was the whole reason to do the angle they did, to get him off television for a few weeks.
Okay.
Okay, I think we lingered on the Jay Briscoe thing enough, but we're technically talking about Ring of Honor TV, besides just the network. Where do you think they go? Where do you think they play?
Outside of Warner or with Warner?
Regardless, where do you think they play?
I think they play on NBC.
That's a WWE product. With
It is?
Peacock. NBC,
Oh.
NBC Universe.
Then ABC.
Yeah, because technically that's what they did before. They used the Syncast. And they would use NBC here, ABC here, Fox there, whatever was in that market. No, I think they get a cable deal. So, I'm going to say...
Access, maybe? But they already have Impact in New Japan.
Access could be a starting point for them. Because Access is owned by Impact. Well, somewhat. Not 100%, but it's owned by them. So, they could add wrestling at the leisure. And they actually brought back New Japan last year. Remember, one year they had Wild Women of Wrestling there, too.
Yeah.
So, they could fit another 1 to 2 hours of wrestling TV on there. I honestly hope they go 2 hours. Because I don't think, with 6 championships, you need that second hour. In my opinion. One or two things will happen. If AEW and Warner are negotiating and maybe a deal has already been struck to stay on TNT and TBS come October, then they will go on a Warner network.
So...
Which they own TNT, they own TBS. True TV is also owned by them. Maybe True TV. Or
True TV's never seen wrestling, though. I don't think.
Neither did WWE in America till they launched a WWE program for a while.
Neither did Pop until they got Impact, and that failed
Exactly.
miserably.
Well, that failed because not a lot of people knew it was there. They did not properly advertise it. I could see TBS getting a Saturday night slot for them. With TBS, it will work for a Saturday night block. Just for the simple fact of the history, especially if they use the 5:05 to 7:05 time slot. That could be huge for them.
I could see it.
If they do not stay with Warner, I could see Dynamite going to WGN America. Possibly even Rampage. Do they want the wrestling show on the same network? Probably not. Access TV would be a good fit at that point.
And if they're on Access, they wouldn't have to deal with like the NBA or MLB or anything like that.
And Access could also be a like on the weeks that they can't show because of a sporting event on a network. Maybe the part of the agreement is a temporary 1 night or 2 week, 2 week show, whatever it may be. Access will launch it that week.
So last week you said that if Warner Media got WWE, you did not want them to touch it whatsoever. So does what happened this week change your opinion at all?
This is my opinion. And I don't care who buys it. I just don't want it shelved. That's my concern if the Khan and Warner buys it. He already has 2 wrestling promotions. Unless he keeps in...
Tony's talking about merging.
Mm-hmm.
Not shelving.
That's be basically the same thing.
But if he merges, he's going to have to release a lot of people.
Here's the thing. When WCW was bought, it was technically merged with WWE.
Yes.
We no longer have World Championship Wrestling. I personally think the reason Khan is interested is the World Championship Wrestling name.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised The Rock hasn't tried. But then again, with his Hollywood career and...
If he buys WWE, I don't want a merger. I want him to keep Triple H's team in and let them play ball.
But
Don't take control over. Don't try to book it yourself. You already got enough on your plate. Let Triple H...
He's stretching himself thin as he is.
That's my point. Let Triple H continue to play ball. However, that means he could change the name to his Blood and Guts.
Or here's an idea.
He could use War Games on all platforms.
If Triple H... Because we've already heard that Triple H and Stephanie and yeah, we're firmly off the J subject.
Thank God.
If Triple H and Stephanie are really going to do everything within their power to stop this, there's really nothing they can do. But what's to say they don't go to
The Khan family? Or Tony?
Tony or Vince and be like, "Hey, Pop, here's the deal. You write out a loan, and me and Steph will pay on the loan. But if anything happens between now and..." I turn my sound... Hold on. Yeah, it's on... Okay, do not disturb me. Thank you. Sorry about that. But if anything happens between the time you sign the loan and now, the loan is null and void, and we get the WWE. It's the same thing that Vince did to his father.
Oh, you mean to Vince if something happens to Vince?
If something happens to Vince...
I want to say that he would do that, but he seems to me like one greedy sucker.
He's always been a greedy sucker.
My point exactly. I'm not going to use the word that most of the viewers is probably thinking, but yeah.
I mean, if they're really, there's nothing they can do to stop the sale. We already know that.
So,
but
I asked you a question, and I'm going to ask you again. Who owns the name Elite?
do you know something that I don't?
No, I'm asking again. Who actually owns the name Elite?
I would say Tony, because of All Elite Wrestling. But the Elite were the Elite.
Being the Elite is older than AEW.
I would say it would then belong to Matt, Nick.
I know Tony makes all the final decisions and he does all the booking. But does the name Elite belong to him or the Elite? There's a reason I'm asking this question.
Go on.
With him being interested in the WWE,
Then
hang on. And if he decides not to merge them, he does have names that he could basically resurrect to change All Elite, just to make sure there is never a conflict of who outright owns it. He's already lost Cody.
Uh-huh.
What if the Bucks decide not to resign? Coming up.
Well,
What if Omega decides not to resign? Coming up. Then
they really have no incentive to not resign.
Well, I agree. I think they will.
But then again, we didn't think Cody
Cody was going to up and leave either. And that would only leave the Hangman.
But I honestly think that the story that WWE is telling right now with Cody, he's going to walk into the Rumble.
Hang on, we ain't to that yet.
Win the entire thing.
No!
Hey!
We're not to all predictions. It's the wait.
I understand.
Hold.
But it's a great story that WWE is telling.
I know, but we will get to that in a minute. Let's finish this subject full. So, here, one or two things. One, Tony Khan actually owns it because he's the financer. He has a lot of say, for sure. Or two, the Elite owns the name, and that's why Tony's interested in the purchase of WWE. Because he could bring back an old name that has history. I'm not necessarily saying WCW, but it's honestly the one that has the most value.
Well,
in name value. Because I'm not sure if he could launch a brand of the NWA or not.
But here's the thing, and we know how stubborn Tony is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going off of record here, and at first, this was a conversation that Jim Cornette and Tony Khan had when Tony Khan wanted Cornette to come in at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Tony asked him one question. Who is going to book your television? And Tony's exact response was, no one is going to book my television except for me.
Okay. Let's change course a little bit. Let's say his dad goes, I will finance this, but you keep that team that's in there as the bookers. Could that be something we see happen?
It could.
He puts a 20-year limitation. He goes, in 20 years, if you don't like what we see, we will reassess this. He said, but right now you got too much on your plate. You got football in the U.S. You got whatever they call it in the U.K. He has a team.
Soccer. There. No.
That's,
They call it football in the U.K. We call it soccer over here.
Yeah, but he has a team, I believe. Basically football.
Uh-huh.
He can't book another 5 hours of TV a week.
No, he's going to drive himself insane.
Well, 7 hours. We forget NXT. He can't do that. No. He's going to have to if he buys it.
But what if he refuses to ask anybody for help?
He won't be able to. Simple.
He can't. He can. Vince did the same darn thing for 40 years.
Vince didn't have 2 football leagues he had to manage on a yearly basis.
He had the XFL
1 year.
that he managed
1 year.
to run into the ground.
1 year. That's what I'm saying. He did not have a complete...
So do you think Tony's stretching himself thin as it is? Because he has outside commitments as well as his wrestling commitments.
As of right now, it's not showing on TV. But when Ring of Honor has a weekly show, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and go from there. So let's move on.
Okay.
Pull up the Rumble.
I already have it.
Okay,
I'm surprised by the card because it's only 4 matches long.
There's only 2 the Rumble matches? No, there's 3.
There's the Raw Women's Championship match against Bliss and Belair.
Okay, let's just break that down one at a time. So we got Bianca versus Bliss. We're going to see Psycho Bliss return fully in this, I think.
My bad. 5.
Okay, let's just break this one down.
With everything that's been going on with Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt and her hitting Sister Abby on... I want to say Bliss takes it.
Okay, let's go that route. But this is how I'm going to say. Bianca wins the match by DQ. Bliss destroys her.
And just refuses to let up.
And then Uncle Howie comes out, shakes his head, and she lets go. Basically saying that's enough. You can't take the belt off of a dead champion.
Oh, so kind of like Abyss did with Christian Cage and that
hand at the time that we later revealed was Father Mitchell before he was revealed. But yeah,
I was talking when Abyss and James Mitchell went to Cage's house.
Oh, you're talking about the swimming pool incident.
Yes.
That's enough of this. We can't take the title from a dead man. Yes. Something similar to that. I think...
Even though I think they went too far in that.
She's going to probably wind up getting the belt at Mania.
Okay.
Then again, they could give her the belt and let her take it into Mania, but I seriously don't think so. Next.
Do you want to cover...
Let's do the Bray Wyatt because I think that's going to be the opener anyways.
Well, okay. So we have Bray Wyatt versus L.A. Knight.
You give your results first.
There is no way L.A. Knight is winning.
Are you sure?
Hey!
I disagree.
Did you not watch Raw's 30th?
I disagree.
Why?
Because Uncle Howley's been attacking Bray anytime he gets a chance. Uncle Howley is going to cost Bray the match. It's going to give us another twist to this Uncle Howdy scenario. Needleman can lose really clean here. I think with it being the dark, the referee can pull off I didn't see a thing.
You mean
Uncle Howley comes in, Sister Abigail, and Bray gets pinned. When the lights come back on, you see Uncle Howley, and maybe even find out exactly who he is tonight.
Well, it's probably going to be Bo Dallas.
That's what the rumor is. I've also heard Edge being popped around. And this may be where the Wyatt 6 or 7 begins to form. Starting Monday night.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying Wyatt is because it looked like Taker did a passing of the...
Oh, he did!
Of the torch
but
type
that
thing.
That doesn't mean he can't be screwed over right now. It wouldn't damage him if they do it properly. And honestly, if they rebook some other sort of match...
But how do you protect Bray and protect LA at the same time?
Outside interference. Simple. No, you didn't lose clean. And that could be the story going in. To the fact that Bray shifts his attention to Uncle Howdy, he comes out Monday night, grabs a mic, and he says a few simple words. Simple. You have got my attention. Drops the mic and don't say nothing for a few weeks.
Oh.
Keep a mystery. Well, even to the point where Uncle Howdy starts talking. Because Bray refuses.
But that doesn't... Wait, you're saying that... I haven't been watching WWE television. You're saying that that Uncle Howdy has been attacking Bray every chance he gets.
He had been interfering
But
a
the
lot.
first time we saw him, Bray was getting beat down by LA, and Bray saw Uncle Howdy and was laughing.
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see where this twist goes. Next.
Do you want to save the Rumbles for last?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay. So And
I want the Women's Rumble to be the last one we touch.
Okay. So we have Reigns versus Owens. As much as I like Owens, Reigns...
The story here is not the championship. Because there's no way Owens will lose it.
No, the story here is what's Sammy gonna do?
This is going to be the next chapter of the breakup. Because we know that's where this is headed. I don't see a drop in the title. Unless Sammy costs it. It'd be a new twist. And then the following week on SmackDown, the entire bloodline destroys Sammy.
Kicking him out of the group.
No. I'm not just saying kicking them out of the group, keeping them off of television for 4 or 5 weeks.
Oh, I thought you were going to...
A beatdown.
Well, that's what the Four Horsemen did to Sting when he
It would be basically a kicking out of the group, but it would be a beatdown. And then somehow Kevin would drop the title at the Chamber back to Roman. That way we can set up the Royal Rumble winner going against him. And then maybe, just maybe, Owens would challenge the Usos to one of the sets of belts. Because you can already see them splitting the tag titles.
Uh-huh.
I bet you they do the same with the heavyweight championship too. So the tag titles are being split. Sammy could cost the Usos one of them sets of belts by winning them with Kevin.
But are you trying to well, if the men's Rumble goes Cody wins, then there's no way to insert Sammy unless it's a triple threat thing.
Sammy won't be in the world title for a few months. I'm thinking he's going to win the tag title with Kevin at Mania. So here's what could happen tonight. Sammy costs Roman, and it could be a complete mistake. But he costs Roman the championship tonight. Which I don't think this has happened, but this would be a good scenario to play out. SmackDown, of course, is the beatdown kick out. We don't see you until after Chamber. Moment. At the Chamber, qualifying matches happen for the title. And somehow, it's going to be a 4-on-2 scenario. Somehow, every one of the bloodline qualifies. Kevin's automatically in, and someone else is in as a 6.
Which means that
there was no way the bloodline's not walking out with that title. No way Roman doesn't get his belt back. And it may come down with all 4 bloodline members as well, and the Usos and Cinderella just lays down and let Roman put his foot on them one at a time to end it. The very next night, Kevin Owens comes out, and Roman goes, he grabs the mic, he goes, there's no reason. He goes, I'm not addressing you. I'm addressing your boys. I am challenging you to because they got a SmackDown tournament, a Raw Tag Team Championship. Tag titles. And they start laughing. They go, we took out your boy. Yeah, we accept. And then, so for weeks, you're wondering. It could be kind of like the Braun Strowman scenario. Only he ain't going to bring in a child. And then, it looks like it's a 1-on-2 match. And then halfway through the match, guess who comes out?
Sammy.
and they take the belts. That would be a good scenario. What do I think going to happen tonight? Sammy is probably going to get involved. More than likely, he's going to accidentally super kick Roman. Not enough to cost him the match, but enough for him to start pulling out his hair again. Scenario. And then the following week, we might see the same. And it could even happen after the match tonight, depending on how beat up Roman gets during the match. That will probably be where we go. So, reality, Roman Reigns wins, retains the championship. Your turn. Who wins?
I'm going to say Roman.
Okay, next match.
Next match is the Men's Royal Rumble.
2 scenarios are going to happen. There's only 2 options here. But I'll let you go first.
I'm going to say Cody.
Okay, Cody's the obvious choice. I'm not convinced The Rock is out of Mania. It just seems too obvious that they are trying to lay a trap for us. So there's 2 options is this. 1, the easy pick, Cody Rhodes wins. 2, the not so easy pick, The Rock comes out as number 30 and he wins. What's the reality though? Reality is
Rock's probably out of Mania and Cody wins.
Reality is we don't know. But I'm going to stand on what I said 6 months ago. And I'm going to say Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble to get his first World Championship title shot in WWE.
There's always a third option.
Someone else?
No. I'm thinking Brett Luger. That's only happened once.
I like that scenario too. Because that way they can basically do a coin flip. Adam, what's his face? Oh,
Pierce.
Pierce has been not happy with the bloodline for weeks. So let's go with that scenario. Oh man, that timing gonna have to be down to a T for this to work. Because the logo of Brett was by mistake.
Well, so was Cena and Batista in 05.
But this would have to be so timed if this is the way they want to play this. Maybe when they flip both over the ring, if they don't think they can time it, the lights goes out. And when they come back on, they're both on the ground. And Adam Pearce comes out, he goes, "Forget it! You both win!" And then the next night, Roman is teed off on Monday. He demands answers from Pearce. So Pearce comes out, he goes, "I've been thinking about this for the last 48 hours, and I came up with a genius idea." And Roman goes, "Oh God, you and your ideas, what?" He goes, "Next Monday night, you are banned from the building because I want a result." And he goes, "Not just you. The entire bloodline is banned from the building." He says, "Next week, The Rock told me he would be in town." And Cody said he would be agreed to this stipulation as well. Next week, we're going to do a coin flip for the Universal Championship match. The winner of the coin shot will go against you on Sunday night main event of WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. However, the one that does not win the coin toss will get a shot at the WWE World Championship on Saturday night. One man will win, one man will lose. But they probably want The Rock on Saturday night instead of Sunday night to make it look like The Rock gives him a beatdown. But then, I don't know how to do this. Well, one of them don't look weak. Here's an idea. The loser of the coin toss will have a main event caliber match the night before as well. That way, the main event of Sunday, both would have had 2 matches in 2 nights.
Well, now that I think about it, there's always a fourth option as well.
What's that?
Do you remember what happened with Rock and Show Royal Rumble 2000?
Well, the Rock pulled him over and he went out.
Yep.
But that would
And they made a storyline that Show declared himself the winner because Rock's feet hit the floor first before Show's.
I don't think I don't think we have something like that. We don't have a. Yeah, I don't think so.
Or
But
they could go with the Benoit and Shawn scenario where Benoit won the Rumble, came over to Raw, and because he won the Rumble, he was going to face Triple H, but Shawn wanted to face Triple H,
and he signed the contract too.
Uh-huh.
I could see something like that, and then maybe even pinning the other person, not Roman. Keep Roman strong for that second title. But nonetheless, I think one of them two options, one of them two people wins the belt. The Rumble, yeah. Now comes the one I have no idea what to go with.
The Women's Royal Rumble.
So, you pick who you got.
I don't even know who's all in it.
I don't either. Just pick a woman. Past or present. Different company. I don't care. Because I can see some Forbidden Door stuff happening tonight. Triple H booking this, so.
I want to say Rhea.
Is that your final answer?
No. But I also want to see Beth.
Phoenix?
Phoenix, yeah.
So who wins?
I'm going to go Rhea. Then Rhea tries to help Dominic win the Rumble. But Beth Phoenix runs interference.
So you're saying the Women's Rumble is going to be first?
Why not?
They usually do that besides that first year they had.
And maybe Dominic eliminates Ray, and then
further that story.
To further that story, and then when Rhea is mocking Ray or something, that's when you hear that's when you see Beth run out and just pop her.
I have two scenarios I think might happen. Ripley is the obvious winner choice of this. But Triple H's Booker. There have been a lot of rumors about a Forbidden Door opening wide tonight.
Well, it's happened
last year with Mickey, which I could see happen again, and she got the belt back too in Impact. But I'm gonna make a bold prediction here, and I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now. What if? So here's my what if.
Okay.
Sasha Banks from New Japan Pro Wrestling, but she uses her New Japan gimmick.
Mercedes Monet.
When that name pops up, the crowd don't know how to react, and then Michael Cole goes, "Is that?" And then when they see her, they go, "Sasha, why is she going by?" And that's where the storyline is. But do I see that happening in reality? No.
I don't think Sasha wants to go back.
Not Sasha. Now, we may have some Forbidden Door stuff, but I would be extremely shocked. And if this comes true, I'm going to be extremely happy. Not that she wins, but that she actually shows up in the match. This could also be Naomi's return night. If she really is wanting to return. Could we see the Rock's daughter debut in this match on the main roster?
I could see that.
I mean, I know she's been on NXT for a while, but I haven't watched any of her stuff, so I don't know how good she is.
Well, neither have I.
So, I'm going to go with Ripley actually winning. That's more of a possibility than the Forbidden Door stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The return of Victoria in Impact as Terra.
Oh yeah, I saw some. I didn't look into it. But...
Nobody saw that coming. Not even me.
Wait, Tara was the one with the giant tarantula, right?
Yeah, and then when she does her little peek, she goes like this with her head. Remember the one that did the first hardcore women matches with Trish?
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about. I don't know if this was a one set of taping scenario or if this is a full-time gig.
Okay, is Ernest the Cat Miller on with Impact, or is he just...
They have not announced that he signed, but honestly, I could see where they play a deal in a few weeks that the pressure gets too much for Santino, so he basically steps down as DOA, but he said, but I am not the DOA, but I am the assistant to the new Director of Authority, and Scott D'Amore has agreed to this.
Didn't
And then the cat comes out.
Didn't Bubba put Scott through a tape?
That's why they had to bring in. And then the cat comes out. He looks at Santino. He goes, buddy, everybody can't do this job, but somebody call my mama. he got to get that line in there. You know that. So the cat would make a better choice because he does have the history of booking on air stuff, even though we know it's already in the cards. But he would make a good choice to replace Santino. And then let Santino look at let Santino look at the at the cat and go, "Can I wrestle now?" But so that's where we're at on that. The NWA fixing to have their first live edition of Power.
Interesting.
Very. The next pay-per-view is coming up called Nuff Said.
Nuff, N-U-F-F, said.
Remember Tylus or Brother Clay. That's his slogan. It seems like whoever was champion, the first pay-per-view with as champion, they book a pay-per-view in their name. Remember they did it with Cardona, and they called it Everyone's Ready or Always Ready. But he got injured and had to give up the title. Now they got Nuff Said. So is it going to be a theme going forward?
I hope not.
Also, Mr. Corgan has now launched a new series on YouTube with the NWA. I actually like it.
And what might that be?
He basically brings in legends and have a sit-down interview with them. And he shows some of his stuff that he had collected from the NWA over the years. Pictures, stuff. And it brings up stories that probably never been told. So it's been a pretty interesting concept. Now, something else Mr. Billy said a couple months ago that got my attention. He was asked a simple question, and he gave a simple answer. Are we going to see the NWA on a television network? Have you been having conversation? His exact response was, I'm always having conversations. And honestly, if it wasn't for the pandemic, we'd probably already be on television. But so that stopped all conversations.
So you want to know where they play?
Pretty much. Who is he talking to?
NWA goes back home at 6:05.
To TBS.
I
actually was thinking when this first was launched, I go, that would be the... think about that.
But 6:05, I don't know if it was 6:05.
It was 5:05 all time.
Okay.
In the PM.
That seems a very strange time slot.
It had that time slot for over 20 years. So it does have the history.
Okay, has Billy brought up Nick, or has he just stayed silent on the situation, or...
Nick.
Aldis.
He hadn't mentioned Aldis at all. But I'm glad you brought him up.
So it's safe to say that Nick is more than likely going
his contract is no longer with the NWA. He's a free agent. And I'm glad you brought that up because there is something that's going on in Impact that makes me wonder if Nick Aldis, a.k.a. Magnus, is about to make a full-time return to the promotion.
Please don't tell me it's another British invasion.
No, it's a Mickey Jane Bully Ray scenario. Bully has been physically abusing Mickey since she won the
I
championship.
thought he was a babyface.
Oh no, he's a bad guy now. He toned for that title shot against Josh.
Ah.
And I thought maybe after the match he would go up to Josh, shake his hand, and go, "Sometimes you got to be evil to become champion. You need to be evil to keep it," or something like that. But no, they are keeping him a bad guy. So since Mickey been champion now for 2 weeks, he has slammed off a few times.
Put it through a table?
Not yet. There was a 6-person tag that he physically got involved with her. Could this be setting up
Like a
the return?
like a bodyguard type deal?
No. You put your hands on my wife.
Oh, you're going with the real life marriage scenario.
No man put their hands on my wife.
And because you did the unthinkable,
and before Bully could even think, you get the old tradition mic drop and an all-out brawl to the point that the entire locker room tries to come out to separate, but they are not able to. Then some reason for another, and it's still not explained why he's in the back, but Doug Williams comes out to try to separate, and Magnus slugs him one. And Doug is like, "What? I was just out.
I was just out here doing my job."
And then he throws his hand down and walks off. And it takes a lot to separate them. And they set up a match with them at a pay-per-view. Maybe even put the number 1 contendership on the line during this match. I don't think it's needed, but it would make a compelling story behind it. Not only is he out there to honor his wife, he's also going to go get what used to be his.
Mm-hmm. So I might as well bring this up, and I know you already said ahead of time that you did not watch the match.
Oh God, here we go.
But I did. I bit the bullet.
Viewer discretion is advised to the viewers at home.
And I watched a 73-year-old man who couldn't even hold up his championship.
Hi. Say hi, we're doing a video. I did not watch the match. I
didn't even watch the entire thing because the fan footage was edited.
I probably won't watch the match.
What's wrong with Ric Flair?
The guy is
73.
Yeah, no. I won't watch the match.
And I showed you the footage from his own podcast. The words came out of his own mouth.
I watched that podcast. I watched it live as it happened. And what is Michael doing?
Looks like he's doing donuts.
I would change this camera if I could, but there you go. So that is Michael doing donuts in the parking lot of the church. Oh, I wish I could go to Marco for a minute. I would show Dad what his son is doing. But now back to business. You know,
I don't understand, Rick.
Here's the sad thing is I bought the show, but I have not watched his last match. I watched everything up to that point.
Well, you said you sped through them.
I fast because I didn't watch it live. So as soon as the Ric Flair stuff started, I fast forward to the end just to make sure he didn't die. And
he looked incredibly bad. The guy, I swear to you,
And the fact that
cannot go anymore. What is my brother-in-law doing now?
I don't know, but he needs to stop. This is a church parking lot.
Once Shane hears about this,
Well, Shane's just as big of a kid as he is. But, you know, here's the thing. We're talking about a bona fide legend.
That's tainting his legacy.
Yes, I agree. Hang on. The fact that he wants to redo it is what I have the big issue with. He had the greatest send-off I think anyone, Sly, well, even better than Taker's send-off, honestly. He had the greatest send-off probably in the last 50 years. And then he goes to Impact. And that didn't go well. Hogan versus Flair in Impact should have never happened. Flair versus anyone in Impact.
Sting versus Hogan should have never have happened.
I agree. But
at least Hogan knew when to call it quits.
well, there is some unfortunate news on Hogan.
He's suffering with cancer or something?
He had a back. He's gone. He had a back surgery, and now I guess he can't feel his feet at the moment. So we definitely want to keep that up in play. Hopefully he wasn't paralyzed because of that. So we might have seen him for the last time on Raw Monday night. But back to the Flair thing.
The guy busted. What is Flair's obsession with him and getting busted open? I know it happened throughout his entire career, but
the sad thing is, I don't even know if he did it by.
He couldn't even hold up his own belt.
I don't know if he cut himself or not, because Flair just had that natural gift of
being a natural gusher.
He could bleed without bleeding. Simply, he could bleed without bleeding. So I do want to get ready to close. We're about 8 minutes short of an hour. I never answered my own question about where I think NWA goes. Honestly, with the network being owned by Anthem TV, and the NWA has been working somewhat with them. I would not be surprised one bit if Anthem doesn't eventually become a full-fledged, not maybe wrestling network, maybe sport network, well, you could hold some more wrestling content. I wouldn't be opposed of it. As long as they don't give us the Combat Zone nonsense, GCW nonsense, they can have whatever they want on it. Your final thoughts?
Well, everything was good besides the Flair match that I watched. And the Royal Rumble is going to be...
This is a church parking lot. Act your age and not like you're two. I know. You have a 2-year-old. You're not two.
I am two. He's laughing. He's enjoying it.
Would you like me to get out of my van and beat you? Or flip you again?
You want to catch me?
You don't want to go there. This van can move. You know that.
Really? I've been trying to race you, man.
But final,
still recording.
I know we're still recording. Final thoughts for me is the Rumble tonight is going to be good. I am not going to watch the Ric Flair final match. And my brother over here is being a pain in my neck. Till we meet again, this is Hardcore Wrestling 101 saying,
please pray that he doesn't kill Please pray that he doesn't kill my brother-in-law.
Do your send-off.
Oh, what? Oh. I am Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.
Chill.